Hello, everyone, and welcome to ForcedToPod, a Force to Wife production. My name is Saxon, but you can call me Sax. Joining me tonight, I have a man who knows no stranger nor pepper too spicy, though he keeps suggesting there might be some. Work friend turned lifer, shared love of video games and Midwest dad vibes. Nick, how the hell are you, man?
Oh, living the dream.
Yeah.
And don't worry for any of our Midwest listeners. I'm not actually crying out for help. I'm just.
There,
It is a red flag. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, it's especially how exasperated that was. Live the dream. Short aside, I talked to Heather. So Heather was on the podcast last week, and I said, I love the episode. I loved having you on there. But I said the very first second of lack of energy that you gave, because it was so late and she's just usually in bed. I was like, if you come back, we might need to spruce that up a little. She's like, you should have told me. I was like, no. I had already messed up the intro like 3 times last week, so I was not doing that. So next we have
Wait,
the man who okay.
Yeah, wait, so who's Heather?
Does your wife know about her?
Not sure. I should bring that back up. So next I got the man who's trying to get me in trouble. Walker, how the hell are you, man?
Peachy Keen, thanks for asking.
You get an abridged intro this week.
Well, that's what I get. That one didn't land as well as I wanted it to, but
right.
You win some, you lose some. So
boys,
less good now.
We are in short week mode. This is a quick recording turnaround. The energy is different. I feel like we all are ready. I'll speak for myself. I am ready for the holidays. I'm looking forward to it. However, it is a busy time. And Nick, you had mentioned something in the Discord. You had mentioned just like how you guys might give me a hard time because I'm not even a child of divorce. So I don't even have to do this thing back and forth and all that.
Oh God.
However, it kind of feels like that. And so this year I had this grand idea, and I'm playing the long game, boys. I'm playing the long game. I decided that I was going to do this. So Heather and I are coming in town, but I got a lot of cousins that all have, different houses. Everyone's married, everyone's whatever, going different places. And then some of them are divorced or separated, whatever, from their partners, or I guess their baby mama / daddy, whatever you want to say. And so it just makes anytime we're trying to get like my mom's side of the family together kind of a nightmare. So I was like, hey, why don't we do like sometime between Thanksgiving and Christmas to make it easier? We're going to do like a mega holiday celebration. We're going to get together. And because here's the reasoning for it. And I want to get your guys' opinion on it. The reasoning for it was that both Christmas and Thanksgiving, we have pretty much the exact same food. Sub out, you might take turkey for ham or whatever, but like we're doing like the mashed potatoes and the macaroni and all this stuff. That's just how my family rolls. So 2 times in essentially 1 month, we're having the exact same food. We're coming together to the exact same place. And then we're doing it on the same day that we're all going to have to disperse and break up across the, state of Indiana to go to all these different places. I'm like, why don't we just move it to a day that is not a holiday? Everyone can be there. We can just set aside. So it's worked out and everyone's actually on board and we're doing that. That's going to be actually the weekend after Thanksgiving. Now, here's where the problem lies. Heather and I live in Louisville. This is in Indiana. This does not include her side of the family. So we still have to go to Indiana for her side. So as I was running my calculation, the grand miscalculation that I made is I still have to go up there for a third weekend now, right? Because I was going for Christmas anyways, which I usually would hit stuff. And then I was going for Thanksgiving anyways. But now I get to go for a third time, which seeing family is not a bad thing, but that's something I pitched. And so I actually wanted to get your guys' opinion on the traveling. Do you guys feel pains with that? Do you mess with it? Or do you do like one side this year and one side next year? Like, how's that go for you guys? Nick, I'll start with you. You seem like you're deep in thought.
It's weird. Really, since Kristen and I have been living together, I guess, or at least since Reagan's been born.
I was hoping you were going to say since you've been married.
No, yeah, since we've been married, it's different. No, we generally. So her grandpa lives, about 20 minutes away, where my parents lived for half of the year, and where her parents live, where we grew up. And so some of her family lives an hour and a half away or so. And then like her aunt and uncle that live in the Cayman Islands will generally fly in. So we'll all go to her grandpa's house. Since my dad and my aunt have moved to Florida, they've lived there for several years now. We used to all go to my dad's mom's house, my grandma's house on that side. But we don't anymore really. And so it's kind of, yeah. I mean, there was a point in time where I was traveling and going to like 4 different Thanksgivings, sometimes multiple in a day. I'd go up
Yeah.
to Pendleton to my grandpa's house, visit my grandma in Martinsville, like it's an hour away, go back to Bloomington, hang out with my friends. So now it's pretty consolidated. We're actually doing Thanksgiving on Thursday at Kristen's grandpa's like normal, with the turkey and the ham and all the stuff, right? And then Friday we're going to my parents' condo just to hang out with them and probably my grandma and just do a short and sweet, just hang out, have a little bit of food. But the problem that I face now, which you think, okay, I'm an adult, I kind of get away from having to travel between family stuff because my parents aren't together or whatever, is that my oldest child, she has to go to her dad's. So we have to facilitate getting her to places. Which is fine. I mean, we have a schedule every year. It's usually the same. We're at Thanksgiving for a couple hours. We eat, have fun, and then she gets dropped off. And then she'll come home later on Thursday night, and then Kristen will go out super early in the morning on Black Friday to the outlet mall and get a bunch of Christmas presents for everybody as part of the tradition. And yeah, so there's a lot of moving parts, but it's whatever. I'm in charge of the turkey for Thursday, and then like making sure Reagan gets home. Other than that, whatever happens.
There you go.
Easy peasy.
Make sure you got the football. Walker, what's yours look like? Because I know you guys are on different parts of the country, right?
Yeah, no. So as a child of divorce, my parents got divorced when I was in college. It never impacted me.
You're an adult of divorce.
Yeah, I'm an adult of divorce, which is, there's actually a whole like pretty crappy movie about it, but it's kind of funny, honestly. But I digress. Yeah, our family was kind of antisocial. My mom's family is all in DC. And so like every other year we'd go down to see them, but otherwise we'd kind of just like be on our own. And Christmas was always like only our nuclear family, which I really liked actually. So it was only our nuclear family. There was nobody else. And it was Christmas always super relaxed. So you get up, you can like, we were allowed to pillage the stockings and whatever. And then my mom would make a late breakfast and we'd sit around and we'd open presents like 11 or something and then just chill for the day. And that was it. It was so simple and easy. I never stressed out. Go.
I was gonna say I had a good conversation about this with my barber the other day when I was getting my haircut. He said that their thing in their house now that he has a kid, he and his wife, they spend Christmas at their house. And that's it. If anybody else wants to come over and have breakfast or see the baby or whatever, they're free to do that. But they are staying at their house, and that's it. And so we kind of do that on our side too. Obviously, Riley has to go to her dad's at some point, but like we're not traveling around everywhere on Christmas Day. We're hanging out, doing all this stuff.
Yeah, it's super chill. I'm definitely a proponent of that. I mean, Chloe's side is very different. It's the Mormons. They're huge family. So they would do like Christmas with their nuclear family like in the morning and then drive 3 hours and be in from Austin to Houston for like big family Christmas. And then usually everybody's around for like a week. So it's a whole thing. And I'm coming around to it. Usually it gives me profound anxiety having that many people around because I don't care for people broadly, but they're all nice. And there's a certain charm to just having like 12 people around. You always have some group for a board game or something. It's not weird if you go take a nap or whatever. Just, I still prefer the just small Christmas. And So we travel, we kind of alternate now these days with like her family for Thanksgiving and mine for Christmas and then vice versa. Cause that's the big pull is the two different families there.
Yeah. If you have a small group, nobody bothers you while you're putting your Lego sets together.
I know. It's great. I miss those days.
Yeah. I found myself early on, while Heather and I are dating and engaged, maybe like at that point, struggling to like strike this balance, right? Because like Heather's family is much smaller. So in our hometown, it's just her, like everyone will be at her parents' house, right? So like her grandma's coming in but there's no real other family that's going to be coming to her side. However, my mom has a large family, and then my dad, his family's on the side, but they don't really like we will go over there, but like we don't really like they don't come over. My dad's side doesn't come to my mom's side's Christmas, if that makes sense. They kind of do their own thing, and we'll go travel and see my grandpa on that side. And so we're at the point now where we have aging grandparents, right? Like, so my grandfather passed away earlier this year. My grandmother on my mom's side, so that was on my mom's side as well. My grandfather, they've both passed away. So now my grandfather on my dad's side is still living, and he's kicking and stuff. So we'd love to, anytime we're in town, get to go see him. And then Heather's grandmother is also still living. So it's one of these things where like that is top priority for me right now. Like anytime I'm back home, get a chance to, we want to make sure we get to see them because no, you just never know. You just never know what's going to happen. So that kind of situation is what's presiding. However, Nick, what you said that your barber's doing, that is something that I desperately want to. And so Heather and I were having a discussion, and she brought me around to the fact that like, hey, it doesn't make sense with us to not, like, we don't have any kids at this point, and we are the most flexible of whatever. Like, we need to keep traveling, but I want desperately. So we actually are. I have exhausted all PTO available to me. Surprising to no one. I don't remember what through anymore, but the
certainly didn't take us 2 hours last week.
Yeah, but the fact is, like, I do have to work. Like, I have to work. Since Christmas falls on that Wednesday, I have to work the days following and the next week after that. So they're traveling. I know. So
dude.
I view it more as like I'll probably be on call, like, just whatever. But how many people are actually going to be working?
No, I'm working tomorrow, but like I'm not going to get anything done because I'm going to send an email and be like, "Hey, can you please give me the information for this thing?"
Right.
No, I can't. In fact, go fuck yourself.
I'll probably get more done tomorrow just because I've been putting it off for the last 5 days, and I gotta drum up some billable hours before the holiday season. But I'm with you, Sax. I'll be working through the non-mandatory Christmas days, but we're traveling shortly after Christmas, and so even if I didn't take PTO, we're just going to hang out at my parents' house in Florida. Like, not doing any theme parks or Disney or anything. So even if I didn't take PTO, I could just log on from there, right? But just answer a couple emails, join a meeting or two. But
clickety clack, as it were.
Yeah.
No, I am looking forward actually to getting a design done. I've been struggling with all week because I keep getting dragged into other bullshit, which is good. We're passing things off and learning how to say no, and I actually get to do my job as an engineer instead of an admin.
There you go.
And right about the time you figure that out, you're going to get thrust into management, and it's going to ruin your life.
I literally just got I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to do project management now.
Okay.
Soon.
Well,
talk about anxiety.
Yeah, for real. Let's roll in. Because we want this episode to be significantly shorter than last week's episode was. And again, appreciate everyone, especially you guys, hanging in there, got everything out of there. So topic number one for the night. Topic number one for the night.
Gonna run your Tesla in the garage.
Yeah. Topic number one for the night is a topic that, Nick, you just blasted off to us, and you just sent this weeks ago at this point. And I'm literally just going to say the 2 words that are on my screen, and I'm gonna let you run with it, brother, because I need a reminder of what we're doing here. I remember we had some heated opinions on it. The 2 words on my screen are toilet seats. Go for it.
Yeah. So, as most of you know, I live in a house with 3 females. I'm the only male in this house.
Don't say females.
It's biologically correct. So they're not all women, I guess girls, but I don't like calling grown up women girls. That feels weird.
No,
anyway,
okay. I see your point. Point taken.
Okay.
This isn't the part to debate.
No,
that's true.
Further. This is all
I'm just ready. I'm so ready.
So there was an incident. I came upstairs. I work in my basement. There's no bathroom down here. There's a half bath upstairs, which is directly across the entryway from Kristen's office. I came upstairs at some point, had to go pee. Went out into the kitchen to get a glass of water or something, and I hear Kristen yell. And apparently, allegedly, I had not put the toilet seat down after, which, first of all, got no kudos for putting it up in the first place. So allegedly, the toilet seat had not made its way back to the lowered position.
As it happens.
And so she, quote unquote, fell in, which is that you're not, okay, I get it. It's not comfortable. It's happened to me before. It's not great, but it's not the end of the world, right? So it got me thinking, why does this happen so often, at least in my experience, where a lady will go to use the restroom and not look where she's sitting before? Granted, I should have probably put the seat down, right? That was on me. I forgot. But you are exposing your most private of parts and not looking where you're putting them first. It seems outrageous to me. Also, without doing any math, it seems to me that the amount of work required to lower a toilet seat
doing any math
is less than the amount of work it would take to lift the seat to its upright and locked position. So
as an engineer, I can confirm that's true.
Yeah,
it does take work to bring thing into a unstable position.
Especially
you're giving potential energy to that toilet seat.
Especially if you have soft close toilet seats where you can just whip it down.
Yeah, I'll come back to that one.
Yeah. So that popped into my head. Like I verbatim had that argument. I said, you are exposing yourself and just sitting down without looking where you're putting your private parts. Like, what are you doing? Why would you do that? If you were in any other situation and you had your pants down, you would be looking before you sat. Like, it just seems wild to me that we're just willy-nilly sitting down and then blaming other people for not being observant and
maybe rightfully blaming. Perhaps nobody can confirm nor deny the allegations.
Right. So that's where that came from. That's why I came in hot to the group chat with that one day, because we had a spirited conversation about it in my house.
Yeah,
I wasn't really mad, but it just seemed crazy.
I have very lukewarm opinions on this, but Walker, I can tell that you have
I'm chomping at
stronger opinions. So I want you to go, and then I'm gonna form. I'm basically hearing the 2 arguments, and then I'm gonna come down into a certain area. I know how we do it here, but like I'm not like strong on either side. So I want you guys to. You guys are convincing me one or the other.
Yeah. So
actually,
I
would like to say before we get into it, it is a bit more of a problem if I forget to put the seat down for my children, because they are much smaller and more likely to fall
they're compact
completely into the
So I mean, defend.
But it is closer to eye level. I feel like it would be easier for them to maybe recognize.
Maybe, but Reagan's usually holding an iPad, so.
Just
what are you
completely gone? Just completely gone, flushed with the iPad gone.
Totally I guess sucked down the pipes.
One question I do have for you, Nick: how accessible and or what is the likelihood that this bathroom would be used without the light being turned
on? If I'm using it, so it always has the light turned on because I close the door. If we have no guests in our house, anybody else who uses this bathroom, the door stays open, which is a whole separate conversation that we could have.
I do have opinions on this.
Yeah, no.
But where it's located, the entryway and the light that comes out of Kristen's office, you can see okay with the door open, even if you don't turn the lights on. So it's not a oh, it happened in the middle of the night visibility issue. It's the negligence issue, disregard for one's own personal body.
Yeah, is it disregard for their body, or is it just a disregard for your wife? What is it really?
Listen,
but
I said I was willing to admit that I could have done better. However, I think it is important to note again that so could she.
That's true, and can't we all? But totally unrelated to this. But
got it.
Anyway, leave that one in. The
no
real argument here is no, you're not going back through. The real argument here is from our good friends the Mythbusters, and really the only point that matters here is that if you don't put the toilet seat down, you're spraying germs everywhere. Because that water is just going up, and you're just spritzing shit everywhere.
But that's the lid, right? That's seat and lid.
Wait, okay. So you put the seat down, but not the lid.
Well, that's a whole other thing.
Down to and fall in.
Okay, no, sure, but you don't. Okay, for the seat and lid are just basically mated for me.
Okay.
Unless I'm. Because either I'm pissing and everything's coming up, or just and then it always goes back down because of the flushing issue. So you're never at risk of accidentally dumping your wife in the toilet.
That's fair. That's a good point. No, usually I don't regard the lid in this case, but
from an operational perspective, this is just not how you want to be operating.
Well, it's not a bathroom I brush my teeth in, so whatever.
Oh, okay. Well, so fair enough then. If it's just the bathroom where we let,
it's literally it's a half bath just inside our front door. It's like I got you though. I've often forget about close both of them, because if you're literally spraying poop and pee germs into the air when you flush a toilet.
Unless that's your thing, which, whatever tickles your pickle, my guy.
I do feel like that's quite the slippery slope if you're like, okay, you must live your life not spraying germs anywhere. You know what I mean? I understand that there's a literal lid that you could do that, but like we are just walking like germ sprayers everywhere. Like I'm talking right now, I am just coding this, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So
I would encourage you, if you ever come to my house, to not touch my kid's iPad because she sneezes directly on the screen protector. Just 2 hands. I need everybody to be watching the video for this. 2 hands playing Roblox. Just on it. Keep going. Just no wiping.
Yeah.
It's just
she's just spreading the germs with her thumbs.
Once a week or so, somebody will grab a Lysol wipe and wipe down the screen. But yeah.
Well, boys, I actually have a third opinion or a third posit for you, and I put this in our text chat. I wasn't sure if I was going to share this. This is me being vulnerable, but I'm going to do that because the energy is different.
I have a third option. Going to the bathroom's all about anyway, being vulnerable.
It's very true.
This is a safe space.
And the ladies, they're more comfortable being vulnerable with that, obviously, and the protection of our own home. That's a whole other side where I'm not sure Heather knows that there is a bathroom door, unless some people are at our house. I don't know what that's about. Just pure cannot close the door ever. I'm like, I don't understand. Like, and if I walk by and something's happening that she's like, oh, go away. I'm like, there's a literal door right here. If you would have closed this, I could just walk by, go to the fridge, do whatever. That's a whole different point. The vulnerable thing I would posit to you guys is, why are we standing to pee in our own house? Like, are we so locked into like this like toxic masculinity mindset that you could not sit down? Because you're probably scrolling. Like, if you're like me, you're going to the bathroom and like, this is a time to look at my phone, look at my device. How accurate are we? Even if that stuff's up, like what is that likelihood
Are you
I
scrolling
mean, I
while
don't know
you're
the last
peeing?
time I went to the bathroom without my phone in hand.
I need both hands. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
All right. Well, it's good talking to you guys this week. We'll see you next week.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, okay. But I'm just saying, you go in there, you don't have to worry about anything splashing around.
That's very true. That's very true.
If we're dealing with that much of a situation, then it sounds like this would be perfect for you, because then you could save a little bit of that that energy we were talking about earlier. So
here's the
sheer laziness.
problem. If I were to sit and pee and scroll, then going pee would take me way longer than the regular 30 seconds or whatever. It would be minutes, because then you're just sitting there looking at your phone, right? I could just get out of the bathroom, go back down to the basement, and sit on my computer instead.
Yeah. So I love a good beverage. And so I'm peeing a lot on the daily. And usually I'm only going when it's like, I'm going to pee myself. And I have to stop doing whatever, like the game or the thing I'm designing or whatever. And then it's where we're in and out. It's an efficiency thing. I grant you, it's definitely, you got some splashing. It happens.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess like if you guys I just enjoy it more. Like I just take my time. I'm just not in that much of a rush.
It's relaxed.
Seems like you guys are, just, and like some great philosopher once said that like every 2 could be a 1, but not every 1 is a 2. And like I would posit that you probably could turn every 1 into.
It depends on
that is an interesting supposition.
You could just do that. So
I disagree, but
if you give yourself a chance, if you believe in yourself,
if you have enough fiber in your diet, everyone
you could turn everyone into a 2.
Choking down spinach like it's your goddamn job, but like maybe
it's just dry spoonfuls of Metamucil every 30 minutes.
Yeah. The other point I will make is peeing standing up is just simply more fun. It just is. When you pee on a tree, it's great. You love it.
Okay, so no. So we're talking indoors.
Okay,
there's nothing like peeing outside.
Wait, hold on.
Nothing.
I will go pee outside given the chance.
I would like to point out that Walker has trees directly behind him right now.
Yeah, no, given the opportunity, when I'm at a cabin, you can pee in the toilet there, or you can go pee outside.
Absolutely.
Outside every time.
I peed in the woods several times,
and you're not peeing sitting down outside.
That's how the Bucks were finding me.
Actually, when I was hunting on Saturday, because I was sitting on the ground, I would actually just peed from my knees instead of standing all the way up.
Okay, so how the turntables?
Yeah, so Nick won't sit to pee inside,
but sit inside.
It was what I had to do to prevent myself from being found out by the deer.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to pee on yourself a bit. Just
No,
it happens.
You take a knee.
You're trying to tell me you didn't spill just a little bit.
Well, that's
not on me.
I mean, I feel like that's the blight of man, right? Like,
yeah, no, that's true. Who hasn't put it back in, and then you're like, God damn it, I tripped in my short. Anyway,
I'm going to get the timestamps up real quick on this episode.
Oh yeah,
so people can skip this if they want to.
We started by saying this could be a short episode, and we spent half an hour talking about pissing. So
we did. So
yeah. Speaking of spraying things everywhere, Sax, is that a new color behind you?
It is. It is indeed a new color behind me. So
Segway Samurai over here.
Yeah. I've spent probably the better part of 8 hours over the weekend just working on doing the best paint job in this room possible. So it's the first time I have painted a house any color so we owned a house in Indianapolis. We basically treated it like a rental. We barely put anything on the walls. We didn't paint anything. And honestly, it was more of a money issue. We just didn't really have the money at the time to mess with it.
Yeah.
So shelves and we put stuff up on that, but we weren't hanging basically anything on the walls. And so I finally was like, hey, I would love to do a little bit of painting. Heather still wasn't quite bought in. I thought it looked okay, but it's, beige. Whole house is beige. And so
standard issue house color.
Yeah. And so I found we have an unfinished portion of our basement where the contractors who had helped work on the house and paint and stuff, they had left supplies. And I found the exact paint that they used on all the walls. And I told Heather, I was like, as soon as I found that, I'm like, I am for sure painting the house or I'm painting at least some rooms different colors because I can always go back if I want to. Like if I hate it.
Oh, okay. You
I can
found
revert
the starting shade again.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So I know
Understood.
exactly what the paint is that was up there. I can't use that paint that's out there because it's been out there too long, but at least I know what it is now.
You can track the color. Somebody could remix it, so on and so forth.
So we have gone with Basil from Sherwin-Williams. I have
sponsor us
for real.
I'll pay, you know what? If they sponsor us, I'll paint my whole basement whatever color they want as soon as I finish it.
As soon as you get walls.
Yeah,
that red. They're gonna tell you that it has to be that red.
Blanket red.
It's his brand.
You know what? It's actually pretty crimson IU color. I'm okay with that.
Let's go. So the office is a work in progress. The video will probably get cropped down, but over my left shoulder, there are drop claws over here because I am working my way around. We did the podcast earlier this week, so I can pull the desk out. I got the walls behind here, but honestly, made pretty good progress. Probably have another 3-4 hours. Just clean it up. Just trying to take a real good. Had watched bunch of videos just trying to get some stuff. I did sanding between layers this time. I had never heard of that before.
Yeah,
it's
me
awesome.
neither.
It's fantastic. So
yeah,
use like a radial sander. Just do it by hand.
Use like a really light grit.
Yeah. It's specifically for paint, and it just it just thins off. It does pull it off, but it basically it gets rid of any abnormalities, anything that's on the wall, anything of that sort. So I did before the first coat. Realistically, I did the most on the big wall behind me. It's the first thing people see when they walk in the room. And then I did a little bit on the sidewalls and stuff. And I'm like, okay, that's a lot of work, but I see it. Like I see the vision.
Right.
And then I had where my desk used to be set up above it. I had some sound dampeners, whatever you want to call it.
Oh, the triangle
some foam up there. Yeah. But when I pulled it off, it pulled some of the paper off of the drywall with it. So I took that sander and I really went in to kind of like thin it out a little bit. But we're probably just going to hang some paintings or some stuff over there. So office is a work in progress. But yeah, it is. We are basil green now and very happy with it. Very happy with
it. It's very cozy. I actually really like it, honestly.
Yeah.
It feels great coming in here. So
we do own this, but I don't know if
you guys bought that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I don't know. I don't know if we'll paint it. I mean, it's still just a tiny little condo in a mediocre building in the Med Center in Houston. It's very small, but it's super convenient for Chloe.
That's great.
She like gets on the train and goes right into school. It's like right there, 5 minutes, no car every day. It's awesome, but it's got the weird like pebbly texture. So I don't know. I've always wanted to paint something. I feel like jealous. It's just not. I don't think it'll work out here, honestly, because we don't know how long we'll be here, and it's.
Pull the trigger, man. Give it a shot. Do an accent wall.
Oh, maybe. We already have an accent. Well, I haven't shown you guys the whole thing, but there's one of the walls is like a fucking mirror. It's real weird. So
I'm willing.
That's the accent wall.
If it was a ceiling, that'd be
weird. For the paint if you want to paint, but you have to let me pick the color.
Crimson red.
I'll tell you right now, it's going to be Honolulu blue. The official
blue.
That's the official blue color of the Detroit Lions.
Oh, that's a weird choice of name for that color.
I know, but it's so good
for Detroit.
Yeah, I like that. I like it.
I'm not a blue guy. I like purple a lot.
That's fair.
I'm not painting this house purple.
Are you talking more like a royal purple?
Like
royalty
purple.
I got you.
All my RGBs in my computer are just like it's purple.
Yeah,
dark purple.
Mine are all turned off.
Damn, dude.
XPC build will not have RGB in it.
NCXT purple.
Yep, I don't need it. So, but that is not the only home improvement that is happening. Walker, you said you are having some dryer woes. What's going on?
Yeah, we broke the belt in our dryer. By we I mean, well, okay. Who's to say who loaded the dryer too heavily? But the belt broke.
I can probably guess.
Yeah,
and it wasn't the engineer.
it doesn't really matter. These things happen.
Yeah.
So we had to get it fixed.
If it makes
Chloe's
you feel
off
better, I
screen.
replaced a dryer belt this year, actually, on a new dryer that we had bought last year. We were drying some shoes. Some shoes got put in the washing machine and then put in the
Yep.
dryer for cheerleading. They're white and they needed to be dried. And the shoe
Mm-hmm.
wedged itself
Oh,
between
and
the
just
door
stopped and
and the arm on the drum. Yeah,
Oh
and it
no.
just and fried the belt. Luckily, it was a $20 piece and it was easy to replace, but
yeah.
still a pain.
We had somebody do it because I wasn't sure it was busted, and I'm working all day, and I
That's fair.
would not pay it again. Honestly, I mean, like it wasn't even that much, but
Did
having
you
seen
watch
the
him
thing
do
all
it?
pulled apart, yeah, I did
Yeah.
actually,
Yeah, it's
and having it is really simple actually.
yeah. Dryers are like the least complicated of the home appliances.
Yeah, it's like it is a motor and some resistive heating elements. End of list.
And the belt is like
Yeah,
this thick.
it's like teeny tiny. Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
mean like it. I really wish I hadn't paid for it, but that is what it is.
It's a lesson.
Yeah, it's a good lesson. But frankly, the time I was like, oh god, the time it's going to take me to fucking learn how to do this and blah 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 blah. It's not worth it. And then I think it would have been worth it.
Yeah.
And I
It's like an
wish
hour's worth
more.
of, yeah.
Yeah. I really wish more things were like that in our houses these days, just because it's got me thinking about the topic I want to bring up is just like right to repair is so important. And I really wish more things were designed to not be, I don't know, smart. Not to be a complete fucking boomer, but sometimes you just need things to work and be simple. And you don't need a smart dryer or a smart whatever. And if we have fairly old, crappy. They're not. They're fine. It works. It dries our clothes. It's not nice. But if it was something even a moderately newer, I probably wouldn't have been able to fix it had I tried.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. It's something I think about a lot. And I don't know. We've talked about electric vehicles a lot on this podcast, and I'm hopeful my next car will be electric. And then that at that point, am I really going to be able to do much at all to work on my car? Which is like, I mean, maybe some, but it's a lot of specialized parts. It's a lot of, dedicated tools, and kind of sucks.
That's
What is so?
that's
I
one
have a
thing I
bunch
like
of
about
thoughts on
having
this.
engines. I've had this debate with one of my buddies several times. He has a battery powered push mower, and I have a gas powered one. And I'm like, I'll never buy a battery powered one because if it breaks, I can't fix it. And I've replaced all of the parts on pressure washers or weed eaters or lawnmowers or whatever. I completely tore apart the engine on my riding mower this year and put it back together because it was broken. And I mean, he brought up a good point where that, like, the mower that he bought, if anything goes wrong, it's got a warranty. They'll just replace it, replace the batteries or whatever. But like,
yeah,
it's not fun.
okay. Fun aside, it's just kind of wasteful. Like,
Yeah.
the whole point of purchasing something electric is that it is doing better for the environment. But if you're just gonna take a lithium battery and toss it in the trash, like that is far and away the most energy, like the dirtiest piece of that tool. And if you're just gonna toss it, then like, good job, you've wasted. And I have not done the math on this, but speaking of not doing math, but you've done a big chunk back towards getting that riding mower, and doing its fuel thing. It's like a little 2-stroke or whatever. Not gonna do anything.
It's well, all right, let's not get into the weeds, but it's a 4-stroke. It's a proper
It's a big boy engine.
It's a big boy. It's got a lot of torque. Yeah. But my weed eater is obviously a 2-stroke, and that thing spits out smoke when you first start it up, and it's loud and obnoxious. It's very fun.
So
yeah,
where is that line though? So for me, the line, the line to pay someone to do my dryer comes. I hit that about at the point where I got to pull the dryer out. Just be honest with you, like, like for me, it's a very short line, and I know that's different for different people, and I know that it's some of that's a bit of a privilege thing, and being able to afford stuff like that. Like honestly, the things that we repaired and reused and stuff growing up, or the stuff you would just do with, right? Like if you're like, okay, this dryer, there's something wrong with it, but if I run this load of laundry through 3 times, it will, if I dry it 3 times, it gets sort of dry, and then I can hang it up and, do whatever. Where obviously I wouldn't put up with that now. Just being the person I am, I'm just going to call someone, nearly immediately, and probably be looking into what it would cost to get a new dryer, like just in case I needed to, like that kind of approach to stuff in my house. And so that's kind of where I come down on it, where I'm like, where is that line for you guys? Like, is it a situation where, because obviously there was a line there for you, Walker, but then you're like, okay, I regret this now.
I do. Yeah, no, I wasn't sure how complicated it would be, and I probably could have done a little bit more research, but it's like middle of the day. I'm like, I have shit to do. And so for me, that was a laziness thing. I didn't, some things I'll take on as projects. I think I'll enjoy them. Like I have a Roomba that we got from Goodwill for $20 that I've been getting to limp along for like, 3 years now, because it's my little project buddy.
What'd you name it?
It's like, it's a Roomba of Theseus. It's just a little guy. I've been tearing every single part. I'm trying to figure out how I can get into the brains of it. iRobot does a really good job of like making their code public, so you can fuck around with them a lot. Fun fact.
Yeah, I've seen a dude online who programmed his to every time the bumper hit something, it would swear very loudly.
Oh shit! That would get so annoying. It would get so annoying.
It bumps into the table leg and goes shit or something like that.
It bumps into like the algorithm they use, I think, is some sort of modified bug algorithm, which the long and the short of it is it basically tries to find a wall and like ride along it for a little bit and then go do something else. So it's like it's like bonking constantly. I get really old really fast.
We have 2 RoboVacs, and one is a completely random pattern. It goes, bumps into something, makes a turn based on some algorithm, and then bumps into something else. That one is the one that I have in the basement. His name is Jeepers Sweepers.
Jeepers Sweepers, nice.
Yeah, and then we bought one when we moved in because we put all vinyl laminate in the first floor, and so I bought one that has a mop pad attached to it, and then like fun. It doesn't have a mop piece that moves. It's just a pad and it sprays water down, but it keeps the dust off and stuff. Yeah. And that one does a pattern, so it'll go down and it'll bump into something and they'll like try to do the same pattern up and back. But that one's name is Doug.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love my little guy. He's just hanging out. So I don't know. There's a fun element, like you alluded to with the motor, the motor stuff. There's definitely a fun. If it's something I'm not going to enjoy, like I don't know, pay to get it done. If it's going to take me like 20 hours and I'm not sure. And like the other thing too is if it's going to make me need different tools that I don't have. Like there's always an excuse to buy new tools, but then you're, $100 deep into tools and parts. And you're like, okay, well, this was not worth my time and I'm not enjoying it anymore.
Especially if it gets so niche where it's just like something for this one job, right? Like you've never needed it. You probably would never need this thing.
I have so many one-job tools in my garage.
Yeah.
Because the line for me is spending a significant amount of time and energy and swear words on trying to fix a problem before I realize I cannot. I have replaced heating elements in my old dryer. I replaced a couple of fuses that burn out. We finally had to replace the dryer itself.
Mm-hmm.
But let's see what other, basically everything is like, if I can't find a YouTube video to tell me how to fix it and then go make 6 different trips to the hardware store to get the parts and tools that I need. I think the only thing we've paid for in this house to have somebody come fix is we had a clog in our kitchen sink. Kristen put a bunch of stuff through the garbage disposal and it just like Well, it was too much.
Totally.
Which
Yeah.
that garbage disposal is one that I installed when we got new countertops and a new sink that I also installed. So, yeah, so I ended up having to I have a 15-foot canister snake, but it wasn't working. Like nothing that I had was working. So we ended up calling a plumber, and he came out and he was like, yeah, it was, 20 feet down the line or whatever. And it was,
Yeah.
he fixed it in like 10 minutes, made me feel like a
I'm
chump,
sure.
but
Yeah, well.
but
Yeah,
he also had $10,000 equipment or whatever. So
yeah, it's a classic, the classic plumber story of okay, guy comes out and you pay him per job, not per hour, because he's gonna fix it,
Yeah.
within 20 minutes. And you're like, what the heck? He's like, you didn't pay me for the time I was here. You paid me for the experience, and I knew exactly what
he's been doing it for 20 years, and he's got several tools. Yeah. With even car stuff, Kristen has an old crappy Chrysler. Is kind of redundant because all Chryslers are crappy, but I've most recently put a new valve cover gasket on it, which actually was not that difficult. It just required me and my buddy to remove 18 bolts and a couple of sensors and whatnot, and take the whole valve cover off the top, scrape the old shitty plastic gasket off of it, put a little gasket maker on there, slap a new gasket on, and torque down those 18 bolts. It's running fine now, but I had to watch a 15-minute YouTube video on where all those pieces were, how to take them off, and what the torque specs were for all those bolts. And then it took us like an hour or two to do. So if it would have been any more involved in that, or I would have put it back together and it was still not working, I would have driven it to a mechanic shop and said, hey, fix this and I'll pay you money. Because I'm not doing it again.
Yeah, the getting through and then having it not work. That one definitely.
So bad.
I'm doing the math in my head, trying to figure out if I'm going to get to that point, trying to preempt that to not waste my time. And I fucked up with the dryer for sure. I wish I'd just attempted it, because it's like three things inside that goddamn dryer.
Well, in your defense, I'm pretty fortunate in that I have the ability to take a couple hours during the workday and do that. I can, if I don't have customer meetings or whatever, I can just be like, hey, taking off for an hour or two, or not say anything and just monitor my cell phone. And if somebody asks me a question or calls me or whatever, I can get with them. But then I can run to the hardware store and take the front of the dryer off and do all that stuff. Yeah. So it's different.
I have a
for
big boy
everybody.
important job, so
I don't. So
sounds like he has a lot of projects he's about to start managing. Nick, he's on.
How about you manage the fixing the dryer project, Walker?
Yeah.
Jeez.
I did. I hired somebody and got it done. That's how you project manage.
You supervise that one.
That's subcontract.
It left you feeling bad.
Yeah, well, I learned something today, and definitely would do it again on my own. And it was just making me reflect today. Not, would I want a new dryer? Not particularly, honestly. Seeing how simple that one was, and how what could a new dryer possibly do for me that dryer does not do?
Spin the drum.
Well, now mine does. It's easy. It's spinning right now, actually.
Well, so when we replaced our dryer last year, we had the same set that we got 8 years ago or whatever. When we moved in together, my parents bought us just the base model, Whirlpool or whatever. And so that dryer, I bought the same one, brand new from Lowe's. It was the cheapest one they had, and it's the same model, had one less option on the knobs or whatever. And so, but it was essentially the same thing. It's not touch screen, doesn't sing at you when it's done drying or whatever. It just turns off and makes a loud buzzing noise if you want it to. So I'm like, yes, give me the most simple dryer with 5 different parts that you can replace for $20 a piece, and we'll see how long it goes.
Yeah. I did their control board in Chloe's parents' dishwasher the other week. That was really easy. I just want more stuff to be like that. Because it feels like everything's just, single use and toss it away. So that was my lamentation / I don't know, philosophical moment for the evening.
Yeah, the idea of I own this thing, but I can't repair it because the company doesn't want me to. Yeah,
That
and I think
sucks.
that
That
gets
is a
down to the feeling of it, because people might not know, like when we just say like right to repair, like they might not know
Yep,
what that means, but like
yep.
it's the concept that like you own something, but you don't have the right to fix that thing because maybe it's a tool that's used, proprietary tool, or a they don't want you
software
getting inside it. Yeah, some sort of
Definitely
software,
software.
looking at you,
that's
John Deere.
blocking you off. Yeah.
Well, yeah. So this comes up most with the tractors because like shitty old, well, not shitty, but just like old tractors go for a fucking premium these days, depending on the tractor, obviously, because they're not locked at, because the people who own them are not locked out of making repairs to them by the fucking software. People have to jailbreak their goddamn tractors for their livelihoods, which is a freaking travesty.
Which a tractor that costs $600,000 or whatever, and you can't
Oh
fix
yeah,
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
stupid amounts of money. I learned how to drive a tractor this weekend, actually, or past
Nice.
weekend, by the way.
Huh.
Sick, super fun.
What kind?
Leaks
Was it a
diesel
Lamborghini?
everywhere. No, it's an old Ford, New Holland,
That's that's my
4.7.
that's my favorite. I can't remember who it was. Somebody was talking about tractors the other day. I go, "Was it a Lamborghini?" And they're like, "What are you talking about?" I go, "Lamborghini was a tractor company before they made
Yeah,
supercars." Like, are you
Hmm.
serious?
yes, they were. Yes,
The
they
more
were.
you know.
Because they had
I
good
learned something
transmissions,
today.
right, or something. They
I
like
don't.
knew their transmissions, and I mean, regardless. No, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed learning how to drive a tractor, and it was like a really simple old, probably 60-year-old New Holland tractor.
Is it
Nice.
that vastly different from driving other vehicles?
Oh yeah. Well, okay. So the brakes don't work on this tractor, and so that was a difference. And then like just the it's manual, obviously, so you need to know how to
Sure.
drive manual already. And then the way that the gearing is just different. So you have like 4 speeds, and then each speed you have 5 or 6 gear options.
It's
So
almost more like a semi instead of a regular
yeah,
car
I mean, because
transmission.
you're doing torque, not speed ever.
Yeah.
And then there's like a whole big thing for the bucket and stuff, and the twisty thing on the back.
Hydraulics.
The hydraulics are in really. It's actually the tractor's in really good shape. It's been well kept, so
Nice.
it was useful to learn how to do that. But that is another thing that made me think about it. But yeah, John Deere, do better. Seriously.
I think that they have been doing better lately, but it was only
Did
after
they get forced?
everybody in the world said, "Hey, you guys suck ass," and they're like,
Yeah.
"Okay, hold
Yeah.
on."
Wait, whoa. Okay, maybe. But have you considered the profits?
For real. A fiduciary.
The consumer
Yeah.
never considers the profits, and it's a travesty.
Yeah.
Well,
It's very
got me
unfortunate. We did figure out, speaking of transmissions, engines, all that sort. I think we talked with Heather about like her car was revving up when it was sitting there. We
Oh
figured
yeah.
out. And I don't know how true this is. This was just like us doing Google searches. You do the classic, you search and then you put the word Reddit at the end so you can
Oh
actually
yeah.
get a
Always.
helpful
Oh, yeah.
helpful Google search now. And we
Google's
found a lot of
ass.
evidence that would suggest that when you're idling in her car, it actually changes to gas. Like it won't just idle on the electric side of things. So what it was doing is it's sitting there, and then it will essentially it like revs it up when it kicks in, and then it revs it up, and then it steps back like the gear or whatever to get to a comfortable space. So I don't know all the
So it's just like
technicalities
dropping
of
into
it,
gear,
but
basically.
it is, yeah.
Probably.
But it ramps up for a second when it flips over. So I don't know how it all works. It was interesting, but I thought we talked about that last week, and because we were trying to figure out, like, I was in the car with her, and
We did, yeah.
I think we were sitting in a parking lot, and she was like searching for something, and it happened. She's like, that's what I'm talking about. So then, I mean, it only took a
You
second
had to figure it out.
look it up, but
Yeah.
it was interesting. Hey everyone, you might have seen that was kind of an abrupt change there. So we use a program that's online, allows us to record our podcast remotely. However, unfortunately, last night it kind of failed and it dropped Walker's feed. And so the best thing that we have the ability to do right now is just to end the podcast right there. However, I did want to kind of break down some of the things that we said at the end, because we did talk about things we were thankful for at the tail end. And so I felt like that was important, so I'm going to do a re-upload. You guys are going to get pings about it and stuff. So if you get to this far in the podcast, we appreciate you. And some people may not see this, but I thought it was important, and I just wanted to have it on there. So some of the things I'm thankful for. I'm thankful for Heather. Thankful for my wife, for all the things she does. Last night we talked in detail about some of the things she does at work and the things she does for us here around the house, things of that sort. But everything she does with excellence. And so I really appreciate her and everything she's doing. I appreciate my family, appreciate all the flexibility that everyone has with us being away. You know, we're just a couple hours south of everyone, but it gives us the ability to do that and to, you know, kind of live out our life here, how we see fit, and then be able to be a part of that. So I'm thankful. I'm thankful for Nick. I'm thankful for his ability to, you know no stranger. That's why I talk about it in the intro of every podcast. But he truly can walk into a room, identify people, and you know, make a friend nearly instantaneously. And I really appreciate that about him. Walker, I appreciate his flexibility, his understanding, his ability to kind of come in and know a lot of things about a lot of things and be that person. Just, you know, things pop up or things come to mind, and I'll be like, man, I wonder what Walker thinks about that, or if he has opinions on that. He's a very, very intelligent person, and you know, I was very struck when we got the opportunity to meet him in person for the first time. He's very kind, very thoughtful. And so I appreciate them. And I appreciate our broader Discord community, the Force Wipe clan. You know, we started as a Destiny clan. We still are a Destiny clan, but there's a lot of us who, you know, we don't play as much as we used to. And I appreciate, and I'm very thankful for the community that we've built and that we've had the ability to bridge and kind of come together. So, you know, continuing into the future, I see, you know, us expanding into different things, and you know, this podcast is one manifestation of that, but just appreciate that. So I just want to make sure it's Thanksgiving week. We talked about it. Walker and Nick, they talked about it, and they can post and share on their own right, but just wanted to tag this on the end. I thought it was important. So thanks again for listening. Thanks again for being a part of our community and our audience and things of that sort. And so, yeah, looking forward to the future.